Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another match reaction video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the likes, subscribe if you're new around here, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below and let's dive into it. That was more like it, wasn't it? Chelsea 3, Club America 0 last night. Our best performance of pre-season for sure. First win under Maresca, first win of the tour. And yeah, a much improved performance. Some standout performers, the likes of Nkunku and Lavia were brilliant. Malo Gusto was superb. Lots of real positives to take. Obviously, a few things that still need to be worked on as well, but that was a lot more like it. And, you know, I think Maresca, the players, the fans should be pleased with what we've seen. Of course, it's only game 3. Club America, not exactly the best level of opposition, but you can only play what's in front of you. And if Celtic highlighted the flaws of the system, then this game against Club America absolutely showed the benefits you get from it if you get it right. As I said, Lavia and Nkunku outstanding. Guiu was sharp again, got off the mark. Dewsbury Hall first minutes looks very good. Maresca and Sterling did some excellent stuff. End product still a little bit poor. But yeah, there were some real positives. There were a few changes made by Maresca. This was the setup that we started the game with. This is the team we started with. So as you can see here, basically a 4-3-3 or a 4-1-4-1, whatever way you want to look at it. We saw obviously Tosin come back into the lineup. Malo Gusto inverting from the left-hand side, which I thought it was brilliant. Was very interesting to see that. Him obviously being preferred over Ben Chilwell. Lavia starting again. First minutes for Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall and Nkunku in those advanced 8s. Maresca starting again. Sterling on the left and Guiu through the middle. So that's how we set up in possession. And then the out of possession is when we then obviously switch to... Sorry, that's out of possession. This is an in-position setup here, where we switch to a 3. Gusto inverts into midfield alongside Lavia, and you end with a 3-2-4-1 like system. So that is how we set up both out of possession and obviously in possession. And do you know what? We couldn't have had a better start. Some great work from Lavia. You know, gets away down that right hand side, and then he obviously he comes into the box, is fouled inside the first 2 minutes. Nkunku steps up, strokes the penalty away. Guiu gets a second. I thought Dewsbury Hall was good. He set the goal up. Obviously, it's a massive plus that he knows the Maresca system inside out, having played for him last season. But for someone who's had such minimal minutes, you know, he looks very good, Dewsbury Hall. So, you know, a smart assist for Guiu, some really clever passes, and he's not afraid to shoot either. So there are a lot of positives from his performance as well. And the first half was good. The first half was really good. You know, Reece James getting some good work going. As I said, Dewsbury Hall was good. Lavia and Nkunku. I was impressed with Maresca. You know, some good moments from him. Great penalty at the end. Calmly smashes it into the top bins. And some nice touches from him. Again, as I said, his end product does need improvement, but you know, there were good performances. The system came together. The centre backs were much narrower. The pivot worked well. Wingers were involved. The number 8s, you know, were fluid. They made runs. All lovely stuff. Which is good. The second half was a little bit flat. You know, as the changes came in, you know, it kind of disrupted the rhythm a little bit. But there are a lot of positives to take from that performance. The clean sheet was vital, by the way. Defensively, the clean sheet was vital. Tosin was good. Badia Shield looked decent as well. We really need the Badia Shield from his first 6 months at Chelsea, not the one that was just making mistake after mistake last season. But the clean sheet was vital. We were dog shit defensively last season. We shipped a club record amount of goals in the Premier League in the last campaign, and it's vital we tighten up defensively, and that was a much better defensive performance. Tosin showing good leadership qualities, good on the ball. James and Gusto were good. Badia Shield good. So yeah, that for me is probably the biggest positive, that we kept a clean sheet, having shipped 6 in our first 2 pre-season games. If we're going to be fair and you know and balanced, which I always like to be, we were decent tonight. But I think an important point to take home with us is that we created so many goals. So we created so many chances, yet 2 of our goals were from the penalty spot. And Guiu's one would have gone down as an own goal in a competitive game. So we're still wasteful in front of goal. Dewsbury Hall could have had a hat-trick. There are a number of other opportunities. And literally that game could have been 4 or 5. You know, we should have been out of sight. It should have been a convincing 4, 5, even 6 goals potentially. And that's probably why we're still linked with the striker, because despite Guiu impressing, we still do lack that real presence in the penalty box, like a lethal marksman. You know, that's what we need. And that's why the links to a striker haven't gone away. That's why there's talks with Victor Osimhen, because I think that is still what this team needs, is a level raiser inside the penalty box. In fairness to Guiu, he's done really well. He's impressed. I like what I've seen from him. And I think absolutely based on the first 3 games, there is a future for him in the Chelsea squad next season. He can absolutely be part of the first team squad and can make a contribution in the likes of the Conference League, maybe from the bench in the Premier League and in the domestic cups. So there's positives on his front. But yeah, I would say the only negative really is the fact that we were very wasteful in front of goal again. But yeah, I just want to give a special mention to Christopher Nkunku. You know, we know what a top-class operator he is. Maresca loves him. He said so after the game. He fits the system perfectly. He can play in a number of positions in the pocket, as a 9 off the wing. He's got that match-winning quality. 3 goals in 3 pre-season games now. A fantastic Hazard-esque run, dare I say it, to win the second penalty of the game late on in the second half. And he's a real match changer, real proven quality, great finisher, and people aren't ready for Christopher Nkunku. You know, it's not scary for us, but it is for the rest of the Premier League, because if this guy can stay fit, he is a top quality operator. And the thought of him linking up with Cole Palmer is a mouth-watering prospect. But, you know, great to see him fit, great to see him firing, great to see him looking sharp, showing the obvious quality that he has. And there's a real special player in there. So we just got to hope that he stays fit. And it's the same with Lavia. You know, the way that, you know, his first thought is to always pass the ball forward. You know, all we had to do was see his season at Southampton to know the talent's there, to know the quality's there. And he's going to feel like a new signing. And it's great that we're going to have so many options, you know. We know that Enzo and Caicedo are probably going to start most games, but, you know, Lavia showing that, you know, if form dips, then he's more than good enough to go into the lineup. There's going to be plenty of games, and competition keeps people sharp. And he's going to be a massive addition to this Chelsea midfield. And he's shown over the course of the pre-season so far exactly what we have missed from Lavia, and exactly what he can bring to this team. You know, I was pleased with Maresca as well, by the way, because after the Celtic game, you know, he was honest in his critique. You know, said what we did wrong, said what needed to be improved, and he highlighted what was wrong with the game. And then the very next game, he went out there, actioned it, and it was changed. And it was a lot better. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Maresca so far. We're 3 games in. This was a positive performance. It's important not to get carried away there. Of course, I know, you know, it sounds like I'm going way over the top here. I'm not. This was a much better performance. But again, you know, we've got to improve in the final third. We've got to improve that end product. But there were some really positive performances. There was a lot to like about what we saw. But as I said, there's also things that need to be improved. End product is definitely one of them. And it's going to be interesting to see how we do against Man City on the weekend, because that's going to be a level up in terms of opposition. Yes, I know they've got a very young squad with them out on the tour, but that's going to be a step up in opposition. A bit of a dress rehearsal as such for the opening game of the season, although there's a lot of players for City that actually aren't going to feature. But you know, it feels like things are starting to come together a little bit. There are some brilliant passages of play building up from the back, which demonstrates exactly what Maresca's system's all about. We're already creating an identity. There's a clear style of play, all things which we didn't see under Mauricio Pochettino. And we're already seeing 3 games into pre-season under Enzo Maresca. So there's lots to be pleased about. There are lots of positives, but it's important to keep our feet on the ground and realise that tougher tests lie ahead. If we can put in a similar level of performance against the likes of the Man Cities and your Real Madrids and your Inter over the last 3 games of the season, and we can take some positive momentum into the start of the season, then there's definitely room to be optimistic. But 1 good performance out of 3 games in pre-season doesn't suddenly mean we're back or anything. But that was much more like it. And there was a lot to enjoy about it, And I think this team is capable of doing something good next season. We really are really good, really capable of doing something next season. And as I've said many times before in the live shows and stuff, guys, Dewsbury Hall is going to be a good player for Chelsea. Excellent timing. He knows the spaces to occupy, when to occupy them. He moves in tandem really nicely with other players. He makes the blindside runs. He's a really good player, and he is going to surprise a lot of people. Malagusto's quality was fantastic, inverting from midfield into midfield from the left-hand side. I think he's a manager's dream. Can play left, can play right, can invert into midfield. He's technically sound. He covers ground. He's got great athleticism. He's got the ability to burst forward, carrying the ball from deep. He's got a great understanding. He can move. He moves the ball quickly. His movement to offer angles to others is great. What a player he is. What a player. And I think he's set for a big, big role under Maresca as well. So, yeah, I guess to sum up, guys, positive, really positive, much better from us. Players stepping up, players adapting to the system, players learning. And there's a lot to take forward into the City game. And we need to see more of the same again against Man City. But yeah, guys, I'm really happy with that performance. A step in the right direction, a much needed response to the defeat against Celtic. The wrongs from the Celtic game were very much rectified in this one, and we move on to the next game, and we just got to continue to hope for the improvements. Levi Colwill missed the game with a little bit of due to load management was the reasons. Hopefully he's back for the next one. Moises Caicedo and Nicholas Jackson yet to feature. I think the City game might come too soon for them, but they should be able to feature against Real Madrid. Obviously Enzo Fernandez returned as well, which is a positive. He looked a little bit slow, a little bit off the pace, but it's to be expected. He's not quite physically where the rest of the team are at. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with that performance. Positive to take for sure. On to the next game, guys. But, yeah, love for the support as always, people. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch you again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea and peace out.